Good morning, students. I'll be using this video to throw more light on the HTML form syntax. So it's always advisable to have your form content, the field name, the input type in the HTML form tag. So over here, before we start, this is the beginning of the form. So we start the form with the HTML form tag, and then we continue from there. So this is the first field on the form, which is name, because it's a text to give a description of what is required of the user to provide. It's a label, so we put it in the label tab. So you have to open the label tab, you put the content, which is the name, in there, and then you close the label tab. So after then, this line of code is providing a space for the user to provide a name and then maybe key in the name. So we have the input, and then the input type is text. So the text is taking both alphanumeric and special characters. So you give it a name. You can choose any name you want to give to your field. And then because I want the next field, which is email, to move to the next line, I have to break the line. So I'm moving the next field to the next line, and I'm having the next field, which is email, in the label because it's a text to give a description of what is required. So with the email, we have the input type to be email. So the input type is email, and then a name, you can choose any name you want to give it. So in this case, I'm choosing email for you. You can choose any name you want to give to it. So I have to break it. I want gender to move to the next line too. So I'm having the gender in the label tag, and I'm closing the label tag here, and this is the content in the label tag, which is the label gender. So with that one, because the gender works in a way that you can't belong to male and then at the same time belong to female, we use the radio button. So the radio button makes it in a way that you can only choose one of the options provided. So we have the input type radio. So this is the input type radio. So with the input type radio, you give it a name. You can choose any name you want to give to it. But the syntax for this gender or the radio works in the way that you have to provide the option after closing the input tag. So you provide the option after closing the input tag. So I have to close the input tag here, and this is the option I provided, male. This is the option I provided. And then you have to continue with the same input type, and then you provide a type, the name of it, you're repeating the gender throughout because it's all about gender. And then you provide another option, which is female. You repeat the same thing, another option, which is other. That is when you don't belong to male or female. And then we move on to, because we want the next field to move to the next line, we break the line. We move on to upload a file, which is a label over there. So we use the input type file. With the input type file, it makes it possible for the user to go to wherever the file is and to browse and then upload the file from wherever the file is. And then we give it a name, upload. We break it. We want the password, which is the next field, to move to the next line, so we have to break it here. So this line of this tag over here is putting or bringing the password, which is the next field, to the next line. And then we have the password in the label over here. So what input type are we using for the password? We are using the input type password. We want it in a way that whenever you are doing the entry, somebody beside you will not see the characters. We have them hidden unless you show them. So you have the input type password, and then the name of it, you can choose any name. So with this one, I'm choosing PWD for the name of it. I have to break it now because I want the next field to move to the next line. So right here, we want to make use of the checkbox in a way that the checkbox works in a way that you can choose more than two of the options provided. It's not in the similar to how the radio button works, that you are only required to choose one of the options. With the checkbox, you can choose all of the options. You can choose any of the options that you want to choose. You can choose it. So, but the syntax also works the same way. You have the input, the type of it, which is checkbox. But when you come over here, the input type is radio, and then over here the input type is checkbox. So the name, any name you want to give to it, and then you provide the options. So after providing all the options, it will give you the possibility of choosing any of these that you want, number of them that you want. So let's move on. Then we have the HR over here to a horizontal row. That's we want to draw a line before we had the buttons below there, the submit and then the reset. So the input type submit works in a way that after key in the values you want to save it, so that this button will save or submit to wherever you want to save the values or the information, the data. So with that one, you give it a name, submit. You can choose any name you want to give. So we have value over here, and then on the value we have its value property as save. So on the button we have save on the button, so the name of the button will be saved over here. So the name of the button will be saved. So whenever you look at the button, you have save on it. And then we move on to the next one, input type reset. That is to reset or to clear the information or the data you've entered. And then the value over here will be clear. So the name of the button will be clear over here. Okay. We are having the reset over here. So the value of the button, that is the text we will have on the button, will be clear. And then after everything, you have to come down here and then you close the form tag. You come down here and close the form tag. So whenever you are done with this one and you save it, when you save it and you open it in a browser, you have to get something like this. You have the name, so you provide the name, the email, you provide the email. With the gender, when you choose this and you come back to choose the, it will deselect the first selection. You come here, you can browse and go wherever the file is and you upload it. With the password, whenever you are doing the entry, because it's a password, it will be masked. You can't see the characters unless you show it. So you come here and then you show the characters. This is a checkbox. So by so doing, you can choose the number of them that you want. So choose 3 of it, and then you can save it or clear it. Whenever you click on the clear, it will delete all that you've keyed in here. So with the clear one, everything is gone. Thank you for listening.